Welcome back, Bella. I am so excited for today's episode because we have a very special guest. As you guys know, Embracing My Markings podcast is about uplifting one another, highlighting resilient individuals who have overcome trauma, obstacles, and circumstances that were out of their hands. And after doing a lot of research, I think it is very important to hear our next guest story. She is an artist and she has been recently not been getting the credit that she deserves. So please help me welcome Timoi. Timoi, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
Good. Thanks a lot for having me. I really appreciate that. Glad to be here.
Yes, so thank you to TikTok because I saw you on there, and before I even discuss your TikToks, I was so just captivated by you. I love your uniqueness, your essence, and when I saw your dolls, I was like, oh my God, these are so cute. Like, who is this woman? What is Timoi? Is this her real name? I went on a Google dive and I went down the rabbit hole and I see that you are somebody that has been integrated in LA for many years.
Yes.
To start off, can you let our listeners know, what does Timoi stand for? I love this part.
Timoi is actually an acronym for Trapped in My Own Imagination. And it's just, it's just basically like being trapped in my own imagination, like having so much going on in here that it's kind of like, Alice in Wonderland. and
I do get those vibes like from your paintings. I love the colors. I love, how unique your dolls are. And I think that's what drew me to learn more about you. And I want to start off from the beginning because I feel a lot of us, just seeing you on TikTok, we really don't know. And not everybody does their research, right? But you are an LA baby, are you not? You were raised in LA?
Yes, I was raised in LA. I was born in Guatemala, but I was raised in Los Angeles since the age of 10.
What part of LA are you from?
Mid-City, LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was born in Lincoln Heights.
Okay.
And I still have family there.
I grew up in Mid-City LA, but later on in life, I migrated. I started going towards like East LA because of the culture, the Chicano culture, so like that drove me to go more into East LA, downtown East LA. And then the art too, it was like it was so rich in art and culture and everything. So like it drove me to go that way. And I lived in Echo Park for a little while. I lived in downtown.
Oh yeah. Oh look! Mm-hmm. So yeah, you're integrated. You are from LA, and now you said you came to LA when you were 10. So you were born in Guatemala. Your parents immigrated over.
Yes,
so
they immigrated here. They immigrated first, and then they got us papers, and then they came back for us.
Okay.
And then we lived with them for a little while.
How did you feel at 10 years old, like making such a big move to a place that you didn't know? You didn't know the language, I'm pretty sure. Like, how did you feel in that moment?
It was really like, it was almost kind of like and it was during the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So like you can imagine like the Christmas lights were starting to come around and things like that. So I get off the plane and I see these lights everywhere, the city. And I was just mesmerized, to be honest with you. I was mesmerized. I was a little girl who was always happy, bright, loved everything. And so like I was really mesmerized by the city. And then during the day, I started to notice the graffiti everywhere and I fell in love with that. And it was just, for me, it was a good experience.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I could just imagine. I mean, my parents immigrated here from Guanajuato, Mexico, but I was already born here. But I always wonder, how do you feel as a child moving on? But I could imagine, the big bright lights and everything's decorated and so pretty. And so definitely. Now, I do see that, throughout other interviews that you have done, you do mention and always credit your sister, Susana. I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry, Maritza. Maritza and her husband, Alfredo.
Yes.
Alfonso. Ay, my goodness. Today I have the names todos así. But tell me, what does your sister mean to you, and how much impact does she have in your creations?
My sister is a very creative person. She knows how to draw too and everything, but she loves finances. She loves, having her finances and everything. I don't want to say like money, but because she's not really money hungry, but she loves to have her things. So she went to, instead of going to art school, she went to school for business and administration. So she graduated from Cal State San Bernardino with a business administration, business science, something like that. And so her and her husband have invested in different businesses. And so like when I came to them and I said, look, like I cannot do it alone. This is, especially after what happened to me and being disabled, like there was no way that I could just do it by myself, So I asked them, like, would you be willing to invest or like become partners? So they became my partners in the business. And in 2021, we established the business officially with an LLC.
Wow. So yes. Thanks to Maritza and Alfonso. Thank you to them. I'm so happy to have you with us. Because now let's go back a little bit. Because I did read, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I did read in a part when you were a little girl, you started drawing with your brother.
Yes.
And you started off with stick figures.
Yes. My brother has been a big influence in my life since a little girl. He is the best brother you could have. And he would come home from school. And then one day he just taught me how to do little stick figures. And I just started doing little stick figures. And I remember since my mom was in the United States, I would draw little stories for her, little comic book, but just with the stick figures, because I didn't know how to write yet.
Oh, okay.
Stories with the comic, with the little stick figures, doing little things. And that's how
that's probably how your imagination started, right? Because you're like, what else can I do with these stick figures?
Right.
I love that little tad bit. And then at 9 years old, you had a school project that basically kind of changed your trajectory in a way. Correct?
Yes, it totally changed my perspective because I drew. It was a Mother's Day project, and I did the Virgin Mary with baby Jesus. It's like something like this, the classic, baby Jesus, and I did it in color pencils and everything, and it was super realistic. And my teacher was so impressed that she was like, oh my God, you're going to be a famous artist one day. And she was really tough with me. So for me, I was always I couldn't even get 90% in anything because she would be like, no, you need 100%. You need 100%. So I was always like, but when she told me that, I was like, oh my God, this means a lot, especially coming from her, Yes. So from there on, I would just draw all the time, be in my room drawing, or even in the classroom, doing little doodles here and there, so yeah.
That really inspired you to kind
did.
of push yourself to do better, right?
Yes.
Do you still
yes.
keep in touch with that teacher?
No, that was in Guatemala.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I was still in Guatemala at 9 years old.
Wow.
And
Oh,
yeah.
that's true. That's true. Because you said 10, you moved over here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
so wait, did your brother come with you as well?
Yes, everybody came. I have
Okay.
my sister, and then my brother, and yeah, we all came together.
Oh, okay. I'm glad to hear that that you guys weren't
Yeah.
separated or anything.
I know.
But wow. Okay, so you were 9. You did this project, and then I see that, at 18, you mentioned you had to move out of your house because
Yeah.
your house environment was not safe for you.
Right, right. Yes, at 15, I moved. My parents divorced when I was 12.
Oh.
And then my mother, she wasn't very kind. She was, I understand her. I understand her now. She had her own issues going on, but she was physically abusive towards me, and I just got tired of it because I was, being that she left me in Guatemala, I wasn't that attached to her anymore. Like you have that bond as a
Yes.
child. And so I didn't put up with the abuse. And so I left, I moved in with my dad, and my dad would travel to Guatemala and leave my sister. My sister ended up moving in with me. My brother moved out on his own. And then he would leave us by ourselves. And so we kind of grew up by ourselves. And then when he finally, like a couple of years later, he came back and he brought a wife with him. And she was a big, like, she was so mean. Like, she would, like, label the food in the refrigerator so that we wouldn't touch that. So we had to figure out, like, what we were going to do. She was just, so, like, yeah. And we, like, yeah, she was horrible. So at 18, like, that's it. Like, and my dad, too, became abusive because of her. So I was like, I am not taking this. So I moved out. And then as soon as my sister turned 18, she moved out and she moved in with me. So I ended up moving in with a friend and, had to just figure it out.
But girl, okay, so this is the part where I was like, okay, this is where you guys need to tune in, okay? Because obviously Timoi had so many changes in your childhood, so many things going on. Obviously you're just giving us a glimpse of what happened, right? Not your day to day. So think about what you guys would do in this situation. She's 18 years old, doesn't have a proper guidance, right? Because she comes from abusive parents and immigrant parents because they probably don't even know the system well. And you want to go to art school, but you're unable to go to art school. And you don't give up. This is the part where I'm like, you're amazing. She doesn't give up, you guys. What does she do? She ends up getting a job at an art store. And the part that I love is that you started reading. You started educating yourself. You started doing the research.
Yeah.
And she started gaining knowledge about art, painting techniques, and even art history.
Yeah.
Timoi, oh my God. Okay, tell us, like, what drove you to not give up on yourself? Like, I want to know, like, how is it that you kept going? What gave you that strength to be like, this is not going to keep me here. I want to keep going.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? I always felt this, like it was a gift to me, and that I wouldn't just let that gift go to waste. And when in 2021, when I was 21 years old, I got into a really bad car accident where I hit the center divider and then another truck came and hit me. So like I thought I had died. And then when I woke up from that, a couple of days later, I saw my life flash before my eyes.
Yes.
Like, and so when I woke up, I remembered everything that I saw, and I was like, oh my God, like I am not putting enough effort into my art, and I am too focused on material things, on superficial things, because like I used to like make sure I had my hair dyed. So I was spending my money on superficial things like getting my hair done, my nails done every week, clothes and then drawing here and there, but not really focused. So after that car accident, I like flipped it. I stopped investing in my hair and my nails, and I started to invest in art. And then I was working at Fox Studios as a messenger. And like for me, my goal was to move up there. But then I got into politics and human rights and women's and children's rights. And so like I realized that Fox was a big, big problem. And I was like, I don't want to be a part of this. So then one day at lunchtime, I was so pissed at like the world and everything and at Fox that I wrote my resignation on a paper plate. And I turned it in and I was like, here. And then I walked out and then I went to the museum. And I was just like, it was like freedom to me. Like I felt this freedom, And so then I went and applied at the art store and I got the job and I was really happy. And then from there on, like I started to pick up books and invest, like in the books. And then like just learning, like I started to read, Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci.
Yes.
Just like all of the masters. And I picked up a lot.
Yes. And so then I read that your first series was actually, ¿cómo se dice? Inspired by Picasso's Blue series.
Yes.
I was like, oh my God. That to me, that was like, even my skin, like I'm getting goosebumps because I could just imagine you. Like, I'm not even lying. Like, let me see if, I don't know.
Oh my God.
Like, I'm getting
so awesome.
goosebumps because the resilience that you had at that moment to not settle. And I'm sure that you, like you said, you probably weren't in the best position because you were already focusing all of your resources to things that didn't really matter. So did you have something to fall back on or any security, or did you just go with it with your heart?
No, I just went. I just like I see it as I just jumped into like this ball pit. A ball, a pit of balls. And I just jumped on it. And that was art. Like, let's say like the balls are art. And I just jumped. Okay. And so like I started to go to galleries and submit my art to galleries. And then I started to curate my own shows. Like I would curate my own shows. And I started to go more towards like Boyle Heights, Lincoln Heights, Whittier, East LA. What's the other that's local to there to Pasadena and Highland Park.
Yes.
So I did shows all over like the east side and downtown LA.
You integrated yourself into those communities.
Yes. Yes, because I went where the art was and yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh my God, Timoi. I'm telling you. I'm just so amazed with everything. So then, as life keeps going on and everything, you mentioned you had a dream. And I wasn't really sure on the timeline, but I'm thinking this was around 2005 where you had the dream of the big bright-eyed doll.
It was actually 2003. Okay. So like during that time, I was working at the art store. Okay. And I told you like I was really impressed with the series of like Kalo and everything. So when I had this dream, it was this little doll with big bright eyes, and they told me their story, and basically it was like it was so strange, but I always have strange dreams like that. And that's why my name is Timoi, trapped in my own imagination.
But that's what makes you unique. That's what makes you unique.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, so I had this dream and they wanted me to tell their story. And so like as soon as I woke up, I started to draw them. And I say them because later in life I realized that they weren't a he or a she, they were a they. And so I started to draw them and then write the story and then just like, imagine everything. And so that's how it all started. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to call this the Killer Kalo series. And why? Because this is a little character that is like a little demon assassin or like fights for human rights. And I know it's like maybe not everybody can relate to it, but there are those people who do like fight for human rights that are out there in the protests, that are out there, filling out paperwork to change the laws to help us, Like if it wasn't for those people fighting for us, we would be in a really bad situation because most people don't want to lift a finger for things like that. You know what I mean? So she represents, they represent like empowerment. The name Kalo is it's a slang word that I don't know, it's in Guatemala, but I know that it's also a name for like Chicano slang, Kalo. But in Guatemala, Kalo is like past tense for like something that had an impact on you. Like, eso me caló. Like what you said me caló.
Yeah. Oh, Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's where her name comes from.
I didn't even think of that. And I mean, I know Spanish. So right now that you're like, eso me caló, like, that is so unique. Okay. Now I even identify more with it because even though I'm not the one that's out there, I'm not the one that's signing stuff, I can definitely identify the part of having that anger. So for you to be able to paint that and be able to describe that through your art.
But you know what? You're doing this podcast where you are giving that space and you're taking your time. That is also part of it. Because to me, my characters are like angels, but they're like aliens, angels.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have a hard time relating to them, but they are very relatable because a lot of us are guided by whether you call them spirit guides or angels or, we are guided. And so we don't know ourselves if we are. We're having this human experience.
Yes.
And we could be, like you could be, like your purpose here, it's not just to enjoy life and live it till you die, like
there's so much
you
more.
have a purpose and right. And so that's what it's about. It's like the characters having a purpose more than just, living life like, and there's nothing wrong with just living life. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people who don't want to be involved in anything. They just want to enjoy life, be at peace, and, live a peaceful life. You know what I mean? But there's people that have a purpose and they want to, they have the drive to accomplish these goals that they have, so.
And I think that's why it's so important, and this is something that I really want to emphasize to the listeners. I think it's so important in anything that we are interested in, anything, not just art, in music, in everything that we consume, right? Through our eyes, through our ears, everything that we consume, we really need to look into and educate ourselves. Why is that calling me? Like I said, when I came across your TikTok, it was over controversy, but what drew me to you was like, no, I want to know more about this girl. Like, why is she making these claims? What did this doll stand for? And like I said, when I fell in that rabbit hole and I started looking up Timoi and Googling you, and like it made me understand, and it made me, really, really enjoy your art. And I was like, oh my God, like she has pieces. Like, what can I get? Which one's my favorite? Like it's so hard to choose just from one doll. Like, hay tanto que ver y apreciar en lo que haces. And I think that's why it's important for us to educate ourselves. And that's why I felt like it was important to have you on my platform, because I was like, this is a resilient, beautiful being that is really out here. You're putting so much positivity into the world, and you're really speaking for us through your art. That in my eyes, Timoi, you're precious to our generation. Your talent is way beyond than what we could just see, because I feel like you have so much to offer to us. So I want people to really look into you. She's very, very talented.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much, because I have definitely given my life to art, and to not just like it being art and pretty, but also like speaking, for society, for people who don't have the time or the resources, to defend themselves, So like the art, they are, every character is like it's a sign to something, like I even have a judge. Her name is Judge Donna.
Yeah.
And basically Judge Donna is like the spirit that influences a lot of judges to make the right decisions. So stuff like that, so like.
No, there's so much uniqueness and originality in your work that
thank you.
There like nobody can come to me now and tell me, no, she's faking or she's copying. Like, if you really look into her story, there's so much originality. Like, this is not things that you just come from thin air and you're grabbing, because you can tell the love that you have in your art. Now, kind of merging that into, not only are you giving us your art, Timoi, but then I see this, and I'm going to read it to you, and you tell me if this is true or not.
Yes.
She says, it is one of our goals to offer opportunities to young people coming out of the foster care by offering collaborations to young artists in the foster care system. Our goal is to create contests where they would win an opportunity to design a product with us or get paid, and also receive royalties from the sales of the product. So you're also giving back to the community as you're also giving us art.
Yes. After I got into that car accident, I understood that my purpose here was not to just gain riches for myself, but to actually make a difference. Like, there's nothing I desire in this world. Like a lot of people are like, oh, you're just, you're broke, you're this, you're that, but I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm not. And that's the funny thing, is that people are just assuming all these things, but I'm not, and the thing is, like, for me, is like, I just don't have the desire for material things, but I do have the desire to create a wealth in a big company so that I can help my family and help those in need. And I worked with women, I worked with adults, I worked with children, and I realized that the people that need the most help are young people coming out of foster care. Because from there on, they're going to become adults. And if they don't have something to look forward to after they come out of foster care, it's like, I think of myself at 18 years old when I had to leave home and I had nothing. You know what I mean? Can you imagine, like, if I had an opportunity like that, that would have been amazing, And so for me, it's like giving that opportunity and starting out there, because I would also love to invest money in mental health education and therapy.
Yes.
For young people in foster care, because it's so hard, for them.
Yes. And I think that's something beautiful, because I think they are overlooked.
Yes.
Many of the children in foster care grow out. I hate hearing that. Like, they get to an age where they're not adoptable anymore.
Right.
And if I've never been in that position, right? I cannot identify with that. But if somebody like me that cannot identify with that, it hurts me to hear that. I can just imagine what it feels like to them.
Exactly.
And so for you to be able to give them an outlet to express themselves, and at the same time help them, maybe realize that there is so much more to life.
Right.
And I kind of want to address that what you mentioned about people saying that you're broke, that you're just looking for a clout or whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that has a lot to do with society nowadays. And social media has ruined us to the point where we feel like only material things is what makes you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But when I see, individuals such as yourself telling your story, I know that there's so much more to you than what we can see. It's not about what somebody wears. It's not about what somebody has on. It's not about, if you have the latest iPhone or Samsung or, it's not about that. There's so much more to life. And I feel like you talking about your car accident and having that near to death experience, waking up, you saw life completely different.
Yes.
And it meant more to you than any money can do, because money helps you not to have certain worries in life, but money is not everything.
Right. Exactly.
So I love that. I love that about you. Please don't ever change. Even, if you do get millions, please don't change, Timoi, because
I'll never change. Once you have an experience such as that, it's like you cannot deny that there is no God. You cannot deny that there isn't life after this. Like, and for me, it's like I don't have to worry. Like I don't worry about those things. I know they're gonna come. For me, also like another thing is, I guess I gave myself 10 years for a fast of material things. So like, when I turned like 32, I was going to start taking those opportunities that were going to give me a lot of money. And actually, there was an opportunity in 2012, but I had already gone through the trauma, and it was really hard for me. But, this company wanted it to buy me out. They offered me $200,000 for each doll, and they wanted it like about $5. And so I could have sold out then.
Yeah,
that was in 2012, but I didn't want to sell out because I had my own dreams, and like each doll meant something to me.
That's what I was going to say. It's okay. It's okay.
My alarm went off.
It's nothing important, right? I don't want to, like, you don't have to take medicine.
No, it was my alarm, but no, nothing important.
But I feel like your dolls to you, right? To you, I feel like they're your babies. I feel like they're so much more than just the art itself. Like, they are a part of you. So you telling me that you didn't want to sell your dolls, regardless of the amount that they were going to give you, that only clarifies and makes it very clear to me that it's way more than that to you. These are a part of you. These are like little pieces of your heart that are walking around, in drawings.
Right. Yes. And, I decided not to have children. And so for me, it was like my art. Like,
Yes.
I'm going to focus, because I knew if I had children, that's another form of art for me. At least I would see it that way. And I would focus on my child and raising them and making
Of
sure they,
course.
but that's just wasn't my calling, And so for me, that's why it's so important for me to have, ownership of what is mine, because I didn't sell out for a reason. So why would I let go of something that is mine? Like, that's not going to happen,
Yes, 100%. Now, okay, so the other day I saw one of your TikToks and I cannot recall exactly what you said. But you mentioned when I was 30, and I was like, wait. Wait. Like, no. What did she mean? And I tried to look and I couldn't find your age. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 42.
You look like you're 30. So when you said that, like, you made it seem like, such a long time ago. And I'm like, I bet you
like
she was like 30, like a year ago. What is she talking about? Because you have preserved yourself really well. And that's another thing that justified for me, right? For me personally, looking at you as a fan, I was like, when people go through so much in life, they allow that to really bring them down. And, if you're doing, shady business, if you're doing shady things in life, I think, life kind of gets you back. But the fact that you look so well put, Timoi, and you look amazing, and you look 30 when you're 42,
Thank you.
You've been living your true self, and I can tell that.
Yes. I think it's about being at peace internally and being happy. Because if you're bitter, your lines, your face, everything is going to reflect that.
Yes.
So happiness is an important thing for sure.
Yes. And that's exactly what I wanted to say. Soy malísima para poder hablar y expresarme, but what you just said, 100%, that's what I meant to say. But yes. So now, I think, I don't want to focus 100% on this topic, because I feel like you're so much more than this. But I want to be able to address it so people kind of get some things. And I feel like people are not looking into your story. They're not going all the way back into your TikTok, because you've been sharing for quite a while. And for some reason, just now, you're really starting to show up on the FYP for whatever reason, right? Which I'm grateful for, because otherwise I wouldn't have come across your account.
Thank you.
But I do see that on January 16th of 2021, so last year, on TikTok, you answered a question and it left me just heartbroken for you. And, people are comparing you with another artist. I don't even know if we should name her, because I think at this point we all know who we're talking about, and I kind of don't.
Yeah, we don't even need to name her. People know.
Yes, people just know. Yeah. And I have a confession for you. I actually used to be a fan of this person, and I bought an art piece. But once I bought it, I realized that it wasn't really art, because it was just a print. And I'm like, that's not art. That's a print.
Right.
And
it's probably just a poster. Like,
yes.
I sell posters, but I'm not going to sell you a poster claiming it's print. There's a difference.
Yes.
And I'm not going to sell you a poster at the price of a print. Like, I'm not going to play you like that. That's not in me. You know what I mean?
And that's how I felt. And that's how I felt personally. I felt played, because I was like, wait, why did I get charged this much if this is a print? Like, I can get that print for the same size for not even half the price, way lower than that.
Oh, yes.
So So when you, so when you're getting compared, at first, I want to be 100% authentic with you and honest with you. At first, I was like, but it's not the same thing. And I'm going to be sharing with you guys, because obviously I'm going to edit this so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Like, I'll be sharing her social media handles and everything. So you're not going to be able to see it until the video comes out. But I'm going to be showing, actually, if you guys do your research and go back on that artist, the beginning of her dolls are very similar to yours. Are very similar to Timoi's. And I didn't see that until I really started doing the research and started comparing pictures. And then you really start to see that this other person has been able to profit over an event that happened in your life. One question that I do have, and I don't know if you can answer this or not, but when you talk about in that TikTok of January 16th of 2021, of that trauma that you experienced,
to know why it took me so long to come out about this leech. Well, in 2011, when I found out she was bootlegging my art and I confronted her about it, 6 months after, I was sexually assaulted psychologically and physically tortured. And it affected me so much that I developed severe anxiety, severe depression, hallucinations, and chronic pain. So you can imagine how difficult it was for me. And I worked really hard all these years to get stronger. And basically, I am tired of people comparing me to her and thinking that I'm copying her work. And, you know, just tired of that. And then now she's over here complaining about people bullying her work. Like, no. Okay, now it ends. Now you're being exposed. Now I'm strong enough to come out and talk the truth about this.
I don't want to say that you insinuate, but it almost sounds when you're saying it like, do you feel that trauma happened to you because that person made it happen, or you don't see any connection there?
You know, I didn't have any enemies, you know, and all of a sudden that I come out and start trying to fight for my art, defending my art and trying to fight for it, all of a sudden I get attacked, you know, and this is the crazy thing that they kidnapped me, they blindfolded me, they drugged me with all kinds of different drugs because I was hallucinating, and they would talk to me, they would torture me psychologically. There was a woman there too, and then they mentioned some names that they knew me. It wasn't just like some psycho who wanted to rape me and have sex with me. Like, no, they targeted me. They, you know, they wanted it to destroy me, basically. And after I came out of that, I remember like seeing things that were like, oh, like they want to take my copyright. And, you know, have you seen that movie Incision?
No, I haven't.
No? It's really interesting because throughout the whole movie, they want to steal a patent from this person.
Okay.
And that's how I am so sorry about that.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, and so that's how I felt, like they wanted it to steal my patent. And I just like, I'm not saying it came from her, but she basically defamed me. She put a lot of people against me. She made herself look like, oh, I'm just a baby, you know, but there was no innocence in her. You know, there was no, for her to do something like that to me, there was no innocence. And she was working, she had an investor back then. And I remember when I confronted her, I sent her a message on Facebook because that was like the fastest way to reach her. And I was like, what's going on? Why are you ripping off my art? And she just blocked me. Like, she didn't even respond or anything. She blocked me.
And
so
if she wasn't doing it, because
investor.
if somebody accuses me of something that I'm not doing, it's like, no. Especially especially you guys, if you guys are not following, Timoi on social media, because she talks about this in so much detail. So you guys can go back and look into her account. You mentioned you were mentoring her. Like you were her mentor. And
yes, and she's never credited me. Even before I confronted her, she would give me shout outs and stuff like that. But she'd never say, "Oh, thanks to Timoi" or anything like that. And I didn't see it back then. I was too busy, mentoring other young people because I would do classes, and out of my own time too, out of my own money, and so I was really busy. I didn't have time to keep up. And this photographer, he brought it to my attention. He's like, "Have you seen, this person's been copying your art?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I don't see it," because when she would come around, she would draw the dolls with their eyes closed, or she would put shades on them. So she knew exactly what she was doing.
Not only that, but you would think, because this is the part where I was like, no, there's so much more to the story. Like, because you would think if somebody inspired you, right? Mm-hmm. If somebody's mentoring you and inspired you to make dolls, why wouldn't you give them that recognition? I'm not saying you made her career, because I feel like she has definitely put in that work to market herself. If she's good at anything, she's good at marketing.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely, yeah.
I don't want to take that away from her. But, ¿qué te cuesta poder decir, hey, I was inspired by her dolls. Mm-hmm. Hey, this is the artist, and you know what? She has her own dolls, and they're relatives to my doll. You know what I mean? Like, if you were my mentor, I would have that respect for you to be like, can we even do like a collaboration together? Maybe where we can integrate my doll with your dolls. You know what I mean? Like, you would think of that, especially on the business side of it, right? But she just ran with it.
She did, I even took her to a business class on how to brand yourself. So there was a lot of things that I guided her, like her being able to market herself like that. I taught her a lot of those things, and so for her, I didn't get it. Like, I was really nice to her, and I feel like she sees women as weak and useless. Like, you can tell by the way she speaks, her videos, like how she, even her interviews, how she refers to women. She sees them as weak and useless. And then she wants to that she is empowering them, and that's BS. But I feel like she saw me as somebody weak who she could just take advantage of, and I remember this one time there was this blog, and in the comments, everybody was like bullying her. And I was like defending her. And I even sent her a message, and I was like, oh my God, I had to defend you in this blog because people are just being really mean. She never even replied to that. And I was like, that's weird, And so, like, I feel like she became a little envious that people were actually, really respectful of me and buying my art and everything. So then what she did is she started to price her things at the prices I was doing, but I had already paid my dues to be able to charge what I was doing, And then behind my back, she started to copy my art. And because I was a graffiti artist, I was low key all the time. Like, you wouldn't really see my face around. Even on my social media, you would just see my art. And so I think that a lot of people confused her for me. And so she started to, go into places and they, all of a sudden she starts to sell, but because she started to copy my art. But because before that, she wasn't selling. And on interviews, you can even hear her say, my stuff was ugly before. I wouldn't sell. you know?
And that caught my attention too. Like I said, if you guys really dive into it, if you guys are really invested into this story, there's so much more than what Timoi can share on social media, because I feel like there's no one video, there's no one interview that you can do where you can explain everything. But if you guys have, you know, and I hate to say this, I'm not trying to be mean, but if you guys have any common sense, please do your research, because when you go back and really ask yourself the most, because it's obvious, Timoi, like it's so obvious. Now that I'm looking back, I'm like, even like the way that she sells the dolls, the way that she tries to put a story to them, the way that she, like, there's so much that she copied off of you. And knowing that you've been in the scene. You've been in the scene and you were established since, you know, I see that you came up with Timoi, your artist name, in 1999. She probably wasn't even around then because she's young.
No, she was a little kid.
Yes. So
little kid running around, you know.
Yes. So people that really, if you really want to support Timoi, I feel like it's really important for you to do your digital no puedo hablar. But you have to do the homework.
That's a hard word.
You have to do your homework. You have to really look into it. And I just say this, Timoi, to me, again, I'm going to repeat it. And I feel like I need to tell you, please don't give up. I want to be able to support your art. I want to be able to support what you're doing, because I feel like it's such an injustice that people are even comparing you. Just because just now, you know, in their eyes, just now you're coming out. No. Timoi was somebody way before this. Timoi was actually that mentor to that artist. Or, well, I wouldn't even call her an artist. But in 2011, when you had that trauma happen to you, I think one of the things, and, you know, this is really hard for me to say, but when you were sexually abused in 2011 and you were tortured, I read that you didn't even say it out loud, or you didn't share it until 2020.
Yeah.
To start off, I just want to say, like, and I'm pausing because no quiero llorar.
No, don't worry. I've been through enough therapy that I'm healed. That wound is healed. You know,
but it still hurts. You know, it still hurts. As a human being, there's no way that somebody cannot feel that empathy to be like, oh my God, like, and to hold that for so many years, to not be able to speak about it. Not because you didn't want to, not because, you know, you just made it up. No, it's because it's something so traumatic. Like you said, it left you disabled in so many ways. I don't think just physically, but I think, you know, emotionally.
Yeah, mentally, like I couldn't put things together.
Yeah.
I couldn't put things together, you know, and I confused about what reality is. I was hallucinating. Like, I mean, delusions, things like, you know, and then she uses that against me. She tells people that I'm just crazy. She tells people that, you know, I just...
Wait, this so-called artist does that?
Yeah, she uses my mental illness against me. And if you go back to her videos, like, I've been able to shut her up a lot, but she has been putting down people with mental illness, like calling them lazy. She's always like, you know, you're lazy, you're useless, you know, like, just really ugly, like. And the thing, like, and so for me, in 2014, I stopped looking at her shit. I stopped keeping up with her. And I was like, you know what? Hopefully she'll come up with her own thing one day. Because I can't. Because she was so, like, negative and toxic that wasn't allowing me to heal. You know, and then my doctors were like, you need to stop looking at her, you know, and my therapists were like, no, you got to stop because this is not allowing you to heal. And you can go back and deal with it once you're healed, you know. And I didn't want to, but then I was like, you know what, you're right. I'm not able to do anything right now anyway. I can't put things together, you know. I physically I couldn't get out of bed. Like, people don't understand just the darkness, the, you know, and they use that against me. And it's like, come on, like, you know, do you understand like this, you know, how, like, and then somebody on one of the comments were like, I've been raped too, you know, get over it. And it's like, what? Like, you've been through something like that and you're telling me to get over it? It's just like really, really ugly. Like, I think people can be really ugly sometimes, you know.
Yeah, I mean, wow. I didn't know that. I had no idea because I stopped following her probably around very shortly after I got my print, not my art, my print, my very expensive print.
Yes.
But that's totally uncalled for. And embracing my markings is definitely not that platform, because even though we might not go through it ourselves, we have to have the empathy to understand that not everybody is us. And everybody deals with things differently.
Exactly.
So it almost sounds like she's talking of a place of privilege. That's just not okay.
Exactly. Very ableism.
Yes. Now, you know, before I let you go, Timoi, because I know your time is very precious. Before I let you go, for other people that have been in that situation that you were in, you know, where you went through that trauma, physically, emotionally, mentally, what do you think is one thing that helped you get out of that? Other than seeking therapy and all that, was it your ganas to like survive? You know, the will from the universe?
Yeah, it was my ganas, my will to survive. You know, there's this artist, I can't remember his name, but he had this slogan, ganas. I can't remember his name right now, but very popular artist. And I always kept that in my mind, like ganas, like don't give up. Like, even if when I couldn't get out of bed, like even if I would get up just to brush my teeth and wash my face, to me, I would count that as an accomplishment, you know. Good. And then the day after, I would be able to wash the dishes. That was another accomplishment. And little by little, like that, I started to get stronger, get on the treadmill, another accomplishment, you know. And going to therapy too was huge. Like, being able to have smart therapists to give me coping skills. That was, you know, for me, that was huge. Like, I cannot dismiss that because I feel like it's very important. So I feel like if you've been through something like that, don't give up. You know, don't, you know, feel, even if you just get up, because depression and anxiety and all those things, they debilitate you, you know, and you can't get out of bed. That's the reality, you know. So like for me, like my thing for you is like, don't give up, you know, like always remember that there's the ganas, there's the will, and you can achieve it. Like, you know, if you have dreams, if you have goals, don't feel like you're too old or you're too young or that you're disabled and you cannot do it. Like, you know, you can. I was able to do it. Yes. And now, you know, I have my business and I know that it's going to thrive, and it's, you know, like, I'm not worried about it. And, you know, I'm really thankful too to everybody and people like you who give me the space and you know, a platform to be able to share my story and, you know, inspire other people at the same time.
You're such a big inspiration, Timoi. You are amazing, amazing being. Like I said,
Thank you
your
so much.
essence. And I want, you know, I had a very special guest last year that I met also through TikTok. And he spoke about men's mental health, and he was very open. He was very genuine. And one thing that I remember is I hunted him down and bugged him, you know, to give me an interview because I was just so mesmerized by him, right?
Yes.
And I told him on our interview, I'm like, I probably will sound very annoying, but you're an icon, you're a legend. And something that I learned from that is that when we have people in front of us, we need to be able to give them the flowers that they deserve. And
Yes.
because we lost him due to COVID in December of 2021, so just a few months after I met him. And I'm like, I'm so glad that I hunted him down for that interview, that I told him that he was a legend. So today I want to give you your flowers. And I want to tell you that you are a legend, Timoi.
Thank you so much.
I wish you nothing but success. I envision, like your teacher said, like I can just envision, you know, you going far. The people that get it will get it, and the people that don't will never get it. And that's okay.
Yeah, not worried about them.
Yeah, that's okay, because I feel like your purpose is so much more than just the art. You have so much more to offer to us than just the art, you know?
I'm here for it. Yeah.
So, oh my God, it has been such a pleasure sitting down with you. And
Same here.
thank you for being an open book with us. I hope this is not the last time we see you. I hope we can follow up with you later.
Yes, that would be great. That would be great.
Yes. And one last thing, you guys, I'm putting all her information down below in the description box. If you guys are listening, if you guys are on YouTube, I'll go ahead and put it here on the video and also on the description box on YouTube, so you guys can connect, you guys can support her artistry, and follow her and Google her.
Yes.
Do your research.
And can I say one last thing?
Yes, please.
I am, because
Oh, sorry, my Google.
it's okay. Because legal court and legal fees is so expensive, I am doing kind of like a fundraiser, but it's really like I'm releasing this purse that I designed. So every sale from that purse is going to go towards my legal fees, and I'm only making 100 purses, and they come with a they come with a certificate of authenticity and numbered. And so I'm going to be selling a pre-sale.
Okay.
So I'm going to have a pre-sale. So once there's a certain amount of sales, the purse is going to go into production. And then I'm going to start to ship them to whoever buys the purse. But it's going to be, and then those 100 people that buy it, there'll be like a special dinner or something like that we're gonna do. So I'm really excited for that. So I hope
want to meet you. I want a purse.
Yeah, and it's really cute. It's really cute and has so many details. And I'm gonna be talking about it on TikTok. So you'll be seeing it. And I have a coffee account.
Okay.
ko-fi/Timoi1. And actually, if you go to my TikTok, there's a link in my bio.
Yes.
And there's a link. I have a bunch of links there, and there's a link to that coffee. So through that website, I'm able to take small donations as well for people who want to donate. And whoever donates, depending on their donation, I'll send them a gift. So there's value.
Yes.
There's still people are getting things, and in return for having my back, and being able to follow through with this, because she is not going to stop unless I take it to court and deal with it. And even if the judge says, you know what, there's not.
I want to support in whatever
Thank
way
you
I
so
can.
much.
So thank you so
Yes.
much, Timoi. I look
Thank
forward to
you.
seeing you on TikTok. Siempre ando ahí de chismosa.
Yes, I will be posting my little funny videos
Yeah.
and then spreading some knowledge as well. So
Yeah, and some joy, because honestly, I'm going to be
Yes.
100% with you. And this might sound a little stalkerish, but I swear I'm not a stalker. But I look forward to your videos. I go on TikTok at
That's
night
awesome.
and I look forward to them. I always want to see what you're wearing.
I love to bring happiness to people.
Yes.
And I feel like cuteness and color, like it does something like people, a little bit of joy, Even if
Yes.
it's a little spark, it makes a difference in people's lives. So.
Yeah, even last night, like sometimes I just scroll through your TikTok, like just to see like old videos, and I love your style. I love your uniqueness, the way that you speak. You're so cute.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I try to leave you positive comments on there, because I see a lot of people, and I'm not going to go back and forth with people on the internet. Like, it's not even worth it.
It's not.
But I'm like, I'll do my part by leaving something positive to you. So I try to leave my positive comments whenever I can.
That's awesome.
But
thank
you so much, Timoi. I really wish you the best.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You're amazing.
Oh, likewise. So thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. Don't forget to go to the description box so you guys can support her. Have a good one. Bye.
Hi, babies. I am so excited. I did not even announce that I had already put up the purse for pre-sale, and already 4 have sold. 4. So thank you so much for those cute ass babies that already purchased this purse on pre-sale. The purse is so beautiful. It is gorgeous. It's beautifully made. It has a beautiful lining on the inside and my logo. And the zipper also comes with my logo. It is so beautiful. So beautiful. So the purse is $200 on pre-sale. Only 100 are gonna be made. And so a limited edition of 100. And it comes numbered with a certificate of authenticity. So yes, oh my God, I've had 2 really busy days, the last 2 days. And I didn't get a chance to announce it, but 4 already sold. And I am so grateful, I am so excited. Thank you so much. Thank you, Maribel King. Thank you, Crystal. And there's another, Crystal bought 2 of them, which she is such a queen. I just love her so much. And then there was another BB that I cannot recall her name. She has a very interesting handle, which I will make a separate video for her to thank her. So yeah, thank you so much. This purse, the link is in my bio. It's the first link out of all the links. It's the first link, and it says pre-sale, purse pre-sale. So you click on that link and then it takes you to the website Ko-fi that is hosting my pre-sale. So yes, and then if you cannot buy the purse, you can make a donation of $5 or more. It's up to you. And if you make a donation, I'll send you a little care package of like stickers. So yeah, thank you so much. And the purse is ready for you. So show me some support. I really appreciate it. Like I said before, the complete sale of this purse is gonna go to my legal fees. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I am so excited, and I appreciate the support so much. And yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Love you, babies. Ciao.
I want to hear your story, or I want to support your small business. To do so, please go ahead and visit embracingmymarkings.com. Thank you for tuning in.